don't know what to say. Is it hard? No, I'm not going to say it. Is it just difficult to go into these characters knowing it's a true life kind of thing? Yeah, yes.
Well, it's not really maybe it's a question more for Gethin, because my character is not a historical figure, it's a fictional figure. So, I don't know. I guess I've been acting a long time. I guess I can put it on and take it off. It just seems like that's my life, or that's natural. So
it's not hard.
Well, I don't know.
Sorry.
I don't. What's hard in the beginning is making the whole character. Just like coming in and. And you're not making the whole character because you're leaving room to kind of grow and evolve, because it's a television series. It's not a movie. It's not one shot and you're done. So in many ways, one of the joys of doing a long-running television series is evolving a character through storylines or through your own work.
The thing is, something that I observed certainly in David's performance is you have to create a platform that is strong enough from which you can grow in a really successful way. And the way I know that is, as you mentioned, Mulder and Hank Moody, and I was like, there's two icons right there. And then it was literally just from the moment, it was like, Kodiak. And I was like, bang, he's done it again, damn. And then from that, I really enjoy getting to watch it as when I get to see it. So that was to me like something to look up to, and you create a strong starting point, but then just Kodiak goes in ways you don't necessarily expect. That is amazing.
Right here in front. There's a microphone. There you go.
When you have a character like Kodiak and then you have a Manson, maybe it's in the writing, but also from the actor's perspective, when they're not necessarily a good guy, how do you make them likable?
I can answer. I think the key, this is me, totally personal. I never worry about likable. I actually don't like to get the note from anyone to say I want to make them more likable, give them a dog or whatever. If somebody says to me, give the character a dog, I'll be like, okay, and then that character will eat the dog. But what I want to do, and this is true of Kodiak and Manson and all the characters, I want you to understand them. And I want you to have empathy for them, not sympathy, and not forgiveness if they've done truly heinous things as Manson has, and as Kodiak has done some things you can't take back. Of season 1, but I want you to fully understand them, and if you do, then liking them is secondary to being interested in them. I think, I don't know, you guys.
I would agree with that. I think that it's not something that I really think about when I'm doing something, is whether or not it's going to be likable, but I think there's a certain kind of charisma to characters that don't apologize. And that's not necessarily likable at all, but it is watchable, and it is interesting.
The most fun kind of scene to write is a scene where two characters like Charmaine and Kodiak end up on opposite sides, and they both dig in, and they're both kind of right, and they start to get kind of mean about it, and you start to lose likability for both of them equally in different ways. That's a really interesting scene to write. I think it's an interesting scene to play, So yeah, likability.
I think there's nothing more unlikable than the sense when you get an actor that was trying to be likable. I think you want to kill that person.
There's a great alternate word for relatable.
Yeah.
I think that goes to the scene rather than maybe necessarily individuals, but that you can relate to the circumstances. And the only way to serve that is to be as authentic and as truthful as you can be, and that maybe not being liked very much. I think that's probably reasonable in certain circumstances.
Great. Thank you. Good question. Right
here. Hello. This is for anyone really, but I'm just curious, especially with the time jumping, and I'm curious how out of order you shot the season, and if anyone had some specific challenges that you can recall because of that.
This is a question for Siri. The first 2 episodes, what's premiering tonight are the first 3 episodes as a 2-hour movie, and the first 2 episodes we actually shot as one entity, and that that can be difficult to do, especially when you're working cases as Gray and I do, and as Charmaine, as Claire and I do. It's hard to sometimes know where you are in the case. You know, like, oh shit, I got that clue, but no, I didn't get. You know, you've solved it already because you've done that, but now you haven't. And so, I mean, I think I've been driving home and gone, oh my God, I screwed that up. And then I'll call Jonas and I'll say, you've got to cut away from me on that moment because and they'll just put that moment in.
I was like super confused about the names too, like Tina Greenwood, and there's like
Yeah,
5.
John McNamara has a penchant for really difficult names.
Love it.
He doesn't understand that it's really counterproductive.
It's the reason you went to the Royal Academy of Drama. All coming.
Well, unfortunately, that's all the time we have for tonight, but make sure to go home, watch the next 2 hours.